Welcome to MTG Ownage. We're going to go over the spoilers that were revealed on Zendikar Rising for September 3rd. Quick blurb about me and why I think you should subscribe to this channel if you like Magic the Gathering, and that's I love this game and I want to see it do well and be in a healthy state. Playing it for a long time, some breaks in between, but wow, over 25 years I think. So I guess I could say I have some insights about how cards feel just by looking at them and etc. And you'll probably hear me rage when I see a card being released that is completely unhealthy to the format. So, if I'm being honest, I should probably be on the design team. I just, I don't know if I would take the job or whatever, but I could probably help this game a lot. Anyway, let's get to the cards. So, the September 3rd stuff. If you haven't seen the previous ones, they're on my channel, just previous videos. Alright, so we're starting with Fearless Fledgling. White Griffin, 2 mana 1/1 with landfall. And looks like the landfall puts +1/+1 counters on it, gives it flying till the end of turn. Not too bad, it's something that's going to grow over time, get big, but it only has flying every time you drop a land. Still not too bad, you can never block flyers with it. Interesting. Bubble Snare. An aura for 1 blue. And if it was kicked, you tap the enchanted creature. Otherwise, it's just the creature doesn't untap. Creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Okay, so this is interesting. You can play it for 1 blue and say, hey, that doesn't untap. Or if it's not tapped and you need to tap it down, you got to kick it to get it to go. So not too bad. Not too bad of a card. Here we have something in Spanish. On one side we have a plains. And on the other side it looks like it is, I think that's sorcery for 5. Creatures get +2/+2 and haste until the end of turn. Well, on a 5 casting cost sorcery, haste is not super useful unless you're producing tokens for free with something, because that's like all your mana usually, and you're not going to have anything that really benefits from the haste, but unless you got a token factory. So interesting though, and land on the other side, nice versatility. What is that? Makindi Stampede, or I don't know. I'm not going to try to guess the names. English. Alright, Broken Wings, a 3 mana green instant, destroy an artifact, enchantment, or a creature with flying. Now this is really nice, especially for a common. You know, it's got a lot of versatility on that. There's always, green can have problems with those flyers, and if they don't happen to have any flyers, they can still target artifacts or enchantments, so it just makes it modal enough to be played pretty well, and it's instant. So I kind of like this, a little on the expensive side. Be nice if it was naturalized cost, but cool card nonetheless. And next we have Malakir Blood Priest, a 2 mana 2/1 black vampire cleric. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of creatures in your party. So it looks like that's going to be a max of 4. A decent drain creature, especially for a common. Something we could see a lot of in maybe those party decks where you have this guy and have a way to keep getting him back and kind of end the game with that drain. So not bad. Reminds me of like a cheaper version of Gary. Next we have Nimara Skittersneak, a 4 mana black 3/4 human rogue. As long as opponent has 8 or more cards in their yard, Skittersneak gets +1/+0 and has menace. So it can become a 4/4 menace, which is not bad for 4 mana. But just a 3/4 for 4 is pretty bad. So I guess it gets its mount or something. This picture is riding like a big centipede, and your opponent has enough creatures in the yard, it gets its mount. I don't know, pretty cool context. When navigating dangerous terrain, 100 legs are better than 2. Yeah, I would say that's generally true. Next we have Rock Slide Sorcerer, a 4 mana 3/3 Hill Giant style, a red human wizard. Whenever you cast an instant, sorcery, or wizard spell, Rock Slide Sorcerer deals 1 damage to any target. It's nice that it's any target, so you can help ping things off or make your shock do a total of 3 damage. So not bad. I think this guy is decent, a little expensive. I wish it was just 1 cheaper, then he would be definitely playable. But even, I don't know, in the right deck he could be good. Nice. Rockside Sorcerer. Alright. Paired Tactician. A 3 mana 3/2. White Human Warrior. When paired Tactician and at least one other warrior attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on paired Tactician. So another creature that can grow over time, but you got to be swinging with other warriors. Not too bad though. Not super great, but also not super bad. Alright, Adventure Awaits. This is a 2 mana green sorcery. Look at the top 5 of your library. You can reveal a creature and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. If you didn't put a card in your hand this way, you get to draw a card. So it's kind of nice that it gives you the option of maybe you just hit 5 lands or just no creatures for some reason. You at least get a card still, so it's not a complete dud. So not too bad. Next up we have an uncommon. This is in, I'm not sure what language. It's a grizzly bear. Well, casting cost and power toughness. 2 mana green 2/2. It's probably an elemental something. I'm not sure what it does. Looks like it has something to do with +1/+1 counters and something to do with 1 generic mana cost. So it could potentially be something useful. Next we have Blood Beckoning. A black sorcery for 1 black mana. It says return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. If the spell was kicked, instead return 2 creatures from your graveyard to your hand, and the kicker's 3. It being a sorcery makes it a little weaker. It's just a better Raise Dead, pretty much. Blood Beckoning, not too bad though. Could be good in those in that Rakdos deck. I don't know if anything's going to be better than return to the whatever, the card that brings 2 of your creatures back, but I don't know. It's okay. Next we got Roiling Regrowth. 3 mana instant. Sack a land, search your library for up to 2 basic lands, put them into play tap, shuffle your library. Okay, so it's basically a Harrow, except I think Harrow, the old Harrow, puts them into play untapped, so this is notably worse. At least it gets 2 lands out of your deck. Roiling Regrowth. Okay, Vastwood Surge, 4 mana sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic lands, put them into play tapped. If it was kicked, which is an additional 4, then you put 2/+1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Well, the kicker makes this a whopping 8 casting cost, but for 8 to get 2 lands into play tapped, and then +1/+1, 2/+1/+1 counters on each creature, could be significant if you have a lot of creatures. So I guess it's a decent modal, and getting 2 basic lands into play tapped on turn 4 or turn 3 if you've got a ramp already is not too bad. Nothing super great, but I'd say it's okay. Next we have Skyclave Geopede, a 3 mana, 3/1 insect with trample. And landfall, looks like the landfall gives it +2/+2 into the end of turn, making it a 5/3 trample. Just having trample is really nice, but it's just going to be so easy to pick off. It having 1 toughness until you drop a land it's pretty weak. So I don't think people will play this too much. It's just going to be too weak. But you know, the thing with this landfall is if you get stuff like Roiling Regrowth and Vastwood Surge, you can have a big trampler all of a sudden. So there are some potential with them. Okay, this is in Spanish. I'm not real sure what it is, but it looks like it's a 4 mana green white boar of some sort. Elemental boar, maybe. I'm not sure if the name is a Yasharn something. Terrain something. 4/4. It's in the rare slot. Let's see if we can kind of figure out what it does here with my ability to sort of read Spanish, but not well enough to actually understand what I'm reading. It does say when it enters the battlefield, procure a forest card and a plains card, reveal them, and put them. I'm not sure. I don't know if they go into play or into your hand. I would guess into your hand. So it looks like you get a forest. I'm not sure if that's and or, but it does search up land. Alright. I'm not sure what the bottom part says, but I'll be curious to see what he does in English. An interesting card. Alright, we got Seagate Stormcaller, a 2 mana, 2/1 wizard, and the mythic slot. Okay, when Seagate Stormcaller enters the battlefield, copy the next instant or sorcery with converted mana cost 2 or less that you cast this turn when you cast it. Okay, so we know what this is. This is just a reprint of old what's his name, except okay, you got to do it before. There's no flash here, and it's only converted mana cost 2 or less. So you got to play it and then play your instant or sorcery, and it looks like it's only mana cost 2 or less. However, you can kick it for an additional 5, which makes this which makes this a giant casting cost of 7. And if it was kicked, you copy the spell twice. You may choose new copies for the target. Converted mana cost 2 or less is what really kind of ruins this. I guess you could like double shock or double opt or double, I don't know, you name it. A lot of options there, so it could be good. But 7 to copy it twice? I don't know, maybe it'll have some place in a storm deck or something, but or something like that. I'm not even sure. I'm not seeing this as a really strong card. However, it is a decent, even just as a 2 mana 2/1, and doubling up a shock or an opt is not too bad. It's like drawing an extra card. Alright, let's move on. We got an enchantment, or is this an instant? I'm not sure what this is. We got another card in Spanish here. It's a 3 mana. I want to say it's an instant. And some of the stuff I'm calling Spanish might be Portuguese. I'm not a language. I don't know all the languages. I've only basically trying to figure out stuff on the fly. I'm not formally trained in anything, so forgive me for not understanding all these languages. Maybe someone in the comments can talk about them. Just do it, mark the timestamp and tell us, or link, or whatever you want to do. You want to help out. So I think this is an instant, and it's 3 mana. I'm not sure what it does here. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to figure it out, but it is a rare, so it's fair to say it does something good. And also, this might also be the word for enchantment, so not real sure there. Curious to know what this does though. Archon of Emeria. We got a 3 mana 2/3 flying that does not allow players to cast more than one spell each turn, and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Pretty interesting little lockdown card there. 1 spell per turn allowed. And if they're playing a bunch of non-basics, they're going to be annoyed. Next we have Crawling Barrens. A land that taps for colorless, and you can pay 4. So you can mana dump 4 as many times as you want. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Crawling Barrens, and it becomes an elemental until the end of turn. It's still land. Now this is pretty interesting because this has got some real potential. First of all, you can tap it itself to get 1 of that mana. So anytime at the end of your opponent's turn, you can just buff this up a little more. And I'm guessing those counters stick. Yeah, I don't think the counters go away when it loses its elemental status, but you got to pay 4 to turn it back into it. So at some point, this is going to be massive. Is the point I'm getting to. So after you've done it a few times, it's going to be like, okay, well this time it's a 6/6, and now this time it's an 8/8. And it could become a problem of creature. Oh, interesting card there. Crawling Barrens. I don't know if it's super overpowered, but it seems okay. I like it. Could be a good way for a control deck to kind of have a way to end the game. Next we have a flip card of Song Mad Treachery on the main side. A 5 mana sorcery, gain control of target creature. Untap it, gains haste until the end of turn. Another standard gain control of. Pretty expensive version, especially for sorcery. And on the other turn, on the other side, we just have a red source that comes into play tapped. So, decent modal card there. Next we have Feed the Swarm. Just for 2 mana, black sorcery, destroy target creature or enchantment an opponent controls. You lose life equal to that permanent's converted mana cost. Okay, this is a big deal because for the first time ever, we're starting to see black cards that can kill enchantments. And here's another one. We saw one with Farika's Libation and Theros, but that made them choose and sack. This one is a straight up destroy target. You do lose some life, but that might not be that big of a deal for black to have a way to kill enchantments. And if there's no enchantment to target, you can still hit creatures. Huh. it being a sorcery is the biggest downside here. Losing life's not too big of a deal. It's kind of to be expected to have some sort of drawback if you finally get to kill an enchantment with the black card. Really wish it was instant. And it can only kill stuff your opponent's controls. I don't know if that's not really going to matter that much in general, but you can't kill your own enchantments. Alright, Relic Robber, 3 mana, 2/2, Goblin Rogue in the rare slot. It has haste. When Relic Robber deals combat damage to a player, that player creates a 0/1 Goblin Construct artifact creature token with this creature can't block. And at the beginning of your upkeep, this creature deals 1 damage to you. It's a pretty hilarious little thing. They just get a little 0/1 annoying Goblin Construct that burns them during their upkeep. So it essentially makes, if you get to hit on the first turn, bring them out, you attack. Maybe they don't have any blockers, and you know it. It's essentially going to do 3 damage because they're going to get a damage on their upkeep right away. Here, you take it, and it can't block, so what are they going to do with these 0/1s? They got to buff them up to swing with them and make them a threat. Otherwise, they just sit there and burn them. So Relic Robber is a pretty interesting little card. I don't think he's necessarily that good, but interesting. A creative card nonetheless. I like it. Next we have Fissure Wizard, a 2 mana, 2/1 Goblin Wizard. In the common slot, red common. When Fissure Wizard enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. And it does say you may. So not too bad. A decent utility creature there to help maybe discard extra lands or something if you're playing an aggro deck. So a decent card, not super great. Only a 2/1. It'd be a lot better if he was a 2/2, of course. But I don't think he'll see much play. But interesting nonetheless. I like it. Angel Heart Protector, a 3 mana human cleric. That is a 3/2. And this is another one in the common slot. An Angel Heart Protector enters the battlefield. Target creature you control gains indestructible until the end of turn. That's a pretty useless effect because it doesn't have flash or any way to trick your opponent with it. You're just going to give something indestructible. Your opponent's going to know fair and well that it has indestructible, and they're going to play accordingly. So pretty useless. Essentially, this is just a 3/2 for 3 human cleric with no flash. It really is a useless card. Highborn Vampire. This is just a very plain 4/3 warrior for 4 mana. Black slot Vampire Warrior. Interesting. Some nice, just filled with context, but no actual abilities. Next up, we have some card in Japanese, I think, or Chinese. I don't know. It's a 2 mana. I'm guessing this is a sorcery, and I'm guessing this has kicker for an additional 3 if you want. It's in the rare slot. This could potentially be something good. And it looks like it's a modal card. 3 different abilities. So I'm curious to know what this is. Could be something really good. This kicker could be do all 3. So until we know, we're just going to have to be left in the unknown. Please link down below if you have any idea what this is. Timestamp and link for us. Thank you very much. Alright, next, we have a legendary creature vampire rogue. Zagreus, Thief of Heartbeats. He is a 6-drop with the Rakdos colors. 4/4. Legendary vampire rogue. This creature costs 1 less for each creature in your party, so he could go down to just 2 or 3 mana pretty easily, which is not bad for a 4/4. And he has flying, death touch, haste, and other creatures you control have death touch. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a planeswalker, destroy that planeswalker. So death touch on planeswalkers as well. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is a really strong card. Because if you first turn, I don't know, anything, it could be another rogue cleric wizard warrior. Second turn, a rogue cleric wizard warrior. You could drop this guy potentially on, probably not turn 3 ever, but you could drop him on turn 4, turn 5 for really cheap, and he has haste and flying and death touch, and he gives everyone else death touch, and he's just that's a really, really aggressive card right there. I like it. I think that'll see a lot of play. Zagreus, slow down, you're killing us. Rakdos has enough. Alright, next up we got some kind of elf. I'm guessing this is an elf cleric. It's in a different language, but it's 4 mana for a 3/2 that has some ability and is a common, not sure. We got a 1/2 white creature. I'm guessing it's a cleric or a warrior, I'm not sure. Or maybe a wizard even, I'm not sure. I don't think it's a wizard. 1 mana, 1/2 is not bad. It looks like it has the ability to pay 5 to +1/+1. I don't know if that's till the end of turn or put a counter on it. Put a counter on it's half decent. If it's still end of turn, it's terra bad. I don't think it's super good anyway. It's a pretty expensive cost, 5, or just a +1/+1. And maybe it says all creatures. Not really sure. Alright, next up we have a 1/3 for 2 mana. Probably a merfolk wizard. In the common slot has some ability, not sure. We have Angel of Destiny, a mythic. Angel of Destiny costs 5 and it's a 2/6 flying double strike angel cleric. Wow. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. Okay, so it essentially gives your opponent life when you do combat damage to them. It gives it to you and them. Angel of Destiny, huh? At the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 more life than your starting life total, each player Angel of Destiny attack this turn loses the game. Okay, I see. So while it does give them life, once you get up to, well, 35 in standard, then anyone that's been attacked by Angel of Destiny loses, no matter what their life total is. So pretty interesting set of rules there. Neat card. Curious to see if anyone will actually play it. It's probably going to be one of the cheap mythics, unfortunately. Well, it's going to be one of those mythics that you're like, dang it, not another Angel of Destiny. Give me any other mythic. Let's see. Groma, Fata Vanguard. A 2/2 human warrior for 2 in the red. When Groma Fata Vanguard attacks, target creature an opponent controls with power less than the number of warriors you control can't block this turn. That's really wordy to basically say something can't block something with power less than the number of warriors you have. Next we have Sure-Footed Infiltrator, a 4 mana 2/3. Merfolk Rogue. You can tap an untapped rogue you control and make this guy unblockable until the end of turn. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Oh, I love this. So he's got a way to be unblockable, and when he does combat damage, you draw a card. Pretty decent. Pretty decent. A little expensive. 4 mana for a 2/3 is pretty And you do have to have another rogue, and you gotta tap out somewhat significantly, leaving yourself open, but drawing a card's always nice. Alright, next we have Seagate Colossus, a 7 mana Golem Warrior. It's a 7/5, costs 1 less for each creature in your party. So this could go down to just 3 mana for a 7/5. I don't know. I see some potential here with Seagate Colossus. Big creature that could get rather cheap. And not the worst casting cost. I don't know what it is with Wizards of the Coast and printing artifact creatures, but usually it's like, let's make it a 2/2 and make it cost 5. Abilities, don't give it anything. Just a 2/2 for 5. That's it. This one actually has like a decent power to cost ratio, and it gets to be less, so not bad, especially for a common slot. I would honestly expect this to be in the uncommon slot, but fair enough. Not super great though, otherwise I'm seeing a little potential on it. Cascade Seer. 4 mana 3/3 Merfolk Wizard in the common slot for blue. Enters the battlefield, scry X, where X is the number of creatures in your party, so up to 4, at least 1, because it itself is a wizard. Decent, I guess, but hey, it's just a scry. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed the September 3rd spoilers. I think the big takeaways here are Zagreus is broken. Angel of Destiny is a garbage mythic. Seagate Colossus is a pretty strong common. Let's see what else we got. I really wonder what this green card does and if it's significant. Pretty hilarious little relic robber here. Feed the Swarm, another way for black to kill enchantments. What else we get? That was significant. Crawling Barrens is a maybe a decent way for control decks to have a way to end the game. We got a reprint of whatever that wizard was. It's worth like $50. Except this one's not quite as good and doesn't have flash. We got some 4/4 bear for 4, boar for fair. I can't talk. Yeah, that searches for a forest and or a plains and does something else. And what else do we get? We need anything else significant? I don't think there's anything else too significant. All right. Well, I'll see you tomorrow when I go over the new ones, which we're peeking up at the top. I guess people have already released some, but about this time you'll see video tomorrow. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to get alerted, and you can get my review of yet the next spoilers. Peace out, guys. Keep gaming.